Oftentimes, these slumps will lead therapists to doubt their skills or question the viability of their practice. But please remind yourself that these fluctuations are common and not a reflection of your abilities as a therapist. Engage in peer discussions and professional development to reinforce your confidence and competence. Your peer consultation group can support you during this time as well. They can be a huge resource that comes up all of the time in the Collab Oasis consultation groups.
Welcome to the Colleague Down the Hall podcast. This episode is sponsored by the Collab Oasis Clinical Consultation Groups. Hi, I'm Janine Wolf, and I'm your colleague down the hall. I have a passion for helping fellow therapists get the clinical and collegial support we all need to do this work. And wow, it just keeps getting harder every day. I'm the founder and facilitator of the Collab Oasis Clinical Consultation Groups. I have been a social worker for almost 30 years, and I own a successful solo online private practice. More of us than ever are practicing in solo or online practices, and we all need colleagues to process cases with, commiserate with on those really hard days, and also to celebrate our successes with. In this podcast, I'll bring you insights about trends and changes in our field and sit down with amazing therapists who are doing amazing work. We'll discuss fictionalized cases, ways to practice sustainably, and of course, there will be plenty of laughing. I love laughing with friends. I'm so glad to have you as one of my colleagues down the hall.
Hello, everyone. You are listening to another episode of the Colleague Down the Hall podcast. I'm your host, Janine Wolf, and today I'm addressing the reality of practice slumps, business slumps, those periods when your caseloads dip and new client inquiries slow down. Those lulls can happen for a variety of reasons, and they don't often get discussed. I hear more of people reaching out about these times when they're in panic mode instead of looking ahead to prepare for them. So today I'm going to discuss why they occur, how it can impact you, and strategies to navigate these times. So let's start with understanding practice slumps. First of all, we can get practice slumps with seasonal changes. This can be during the summer season or at the end of the year holiday season, both of which often bring a slowdown. Clients may be occupied with family commitments, holiday expenses, or travel, leading to fewer appointments. You can adapt to these seasonal shifts by offering more flexible scheduling, condensing your work days so you can enjoy some time off as well, or offering telehealth sessions if you don't already do this. This approach helps maintain continuity with existing clients and can attract those who prefer a more flexible arrangement. But I would discuss these things as you're heading into either of those seasons instead of waiting until you're getting cancellations and you're in panic mode. Another reason is in January, insurance deductibles reset. And we all know that there's so many insurance companies now with very high deductible plans that can be really create a real hardship for our client. So this financial change can cause some of your clients to delay therapy until they've met their deductibles. And as much as we don't want that to happen, it's not really within our control because until they meet their deductible, they're going to be paying 100% of the contracted rate. So you want to be sure and communicate with clients about their insurance plans and discuss different payment options. Consider using a sliding scale for a period to accommodate financial constraints that clients might have. If you are a private pay based, then you have flexibility to do that. If you are contracted with an insurance, you need to check your contract, but most likely, if you see the client, you're going to have to accept the full fee until they meet their deductible. Another reason that we get slumps is an economic downturn or periods of financial strain, leading clients to prioritize other expenses over therapy. Be sure to address this with clients who are struggling with deductibles and copays and see if you can figure out a compromise. Maybe meet less frequently for a bit. You might also consider discussing the long-term value of mental health, and if that's mainly going to be for your private pay folks. But if it's between groceries and therapy, food is going to win out every time. So planning ahead financially to deal with these times is probably a better way to manage the economic factors that impact us. The other thing is post-holiday expenses. They tell us on the news all during the end of the year holidays about all the records they're breaking in consumer spending. And it comes back to everybody at some point. If they are paying with their credit cards, those bills are going to start coming due. So it might cause clients to tighten their budgets or cut back on therapy sessions. So here again, you can look at options such as offering shorter or less frequent sessions, or if you are private pay and can afford it, consider seeing some of these clients at a reduced rate to accommodate their budget constraints. But I caution you here that this is a business decision. So we want to make sure that we are balancing our compassion for our clients with our need to run a business and support our personal finances so that we can also live our lives. So you want to make sure that any financial decisions you make along those lines are sustainable for you. And you also want to make sure you're applying them uniformly to all of your clients, or at least making that available to all of your clients. Otherwise, you could be practicing with discrimination. So along with these slumps, we end up seeing spikes in imposter syndrome, and that can be really distressing. A slump in client numbers can sometimes trigger imposter syndrome. I would say more likely than not, it will always trigger imposter syndrome, even if you're a seasoned clinician, because we are our product. And sometimes we forget that these things happen for reasons other than someone not being happy with our work. So oftentimes these slumps will lead therapists to doubt their skills or question the viability of their practice. But please remind yourself that these fluctuations are common and not a reflection of your abilities as a therapist. Engage in peer discussions and professional development to reinforce your confidence and competence. Your peer consultation group can support you during this time as well. They can be a huge resource that comes up all of the time in the Collab Oasis consultation groups. One of the things I often hear from therapists is that decreased caseloads result in lost time. But I want to challenge you to reframe that. This is an ideal time to get caught up on your admin work, review your current marketing strategies, and work on continuing education. So let's look at networking with other professionals. Building connections with solo practitioners, medical providers, guidance counselors, and college counseling centers can open up new referral opportunities. You might want to organize or attend networking events, set up coffee chats, or explore collaborations that can lead to referral. If you are in solo private practice, you really want to reach out to your solo private practice colleagues because we are always looking for referrals. We have a client whose husband needs to see somebody or their child, or they need family therapy or couples counseling. So we always need to have some go-to referrals. So find people that offer something that you could trade referrals on with either a different modality or a similar modality or different population of clients. You also want to look at enhancing your online presence. A robust online presence can attract new clients. Regular updates to your website, blogging, and active engagement on social media platforms can increase your visibility. If you're going to be using social media, that's absolutely fine, but you want to make sure you check in with your profession's ethics around this and make sure that you are following the guidance that you will find there. You can update your practice's copy on your website to reflect current trends or needs, or you can learn about SEO. That is Site Engine Optimization, and that's how Google decides who they're going to give the search results as the first suggestion, second suggestion, and so on. So you'll want to keep an ear out for my upcoming episode where I'm going to have an SEO expert and the person who designed my amazingly beautiful collaboasis.com website. So he's going to be joining me. Look at community engagement and media outreach. Involvement in community events and local media can enhance your practice's visibility and credibility. If there's something big going on in your community, you might want to reach out to some of the local media and see if there's some insight you can provide as a professional. You can also volunteer for community mental health events, offer free workshops, or write guest articles for local publications. You can also offer workshops and group sessions. Consider hosting workshops or group therapy sessions on common issues like stress management, mindfulness, or something that's specific to your niche. These can attract new clients and provide value to your community. So you'll want to identify common challenges or interests among your client base and the larger community. Develop workshops or group therapy sessions around these themes, and be sure to reach out to your colleagues who may be looking for some group therapy support for some of their clients. Connect with past clients. Reach out to former clients for check ins. Now, I want to pause here because there are going to be some people that are going to be happy to come at me and say that's unethical. I think it depends on the type of practice you have, how long someone has been the break that they've been since they saw you last or since there was a discharge. There's a number of factors that can impact this. So, if you're looking at this as I'm going to call these clients to try and get somebody to rebook, that may not feel so good ethically or professionally. But if you're truly genuinely reaching out to clients and saying, hey, I had some free time and you came to mine, I want to check in and see how you're doing. When I've done that in the past, I haven't offered to schedule a session, but oftentimes they will request a session. But if they don't, I don't mention it. So you also want to look at, if you're not already doing this, consider doing a monthly newsletter for former or potential new clients. This can be something that they can sign up for on your website, and make sure that the communication is non-intrusive. It provides value, such as sharing general tips about the issues you treat or updates about your practice. You want to make sure that you have a disclaimer on there that you're not providing therapy, you're providing helpful hints. Some therapists also use these newsletters to announce when they have openings for new clients. You also can consider refining your niche. If you haven't already, consider specializing. A well-defined niche can attract clients specifically looking for your expertise. So you want to assess which areas you are most passionate and knowledgeable about. Which client population or mental health issue lights you up instead of bogging you down? Everyone will benefit if you are seeing clients in your zone of genius, updating your marketing materials to reflect your specialization. And I'm also going to add an extra little caveat here. I've been in this field for a very long time, and I've reached a point where I wasn't as excited about my client work as I had been in the past. And some of this is a result of the pandemic and our field getting flooded with clients and so many people needing help. I want to share with you the exciting experience I had recently where I took phase one of brain spotting. This opened up my mind in ways that I'd never looked at therapy before, and it has reinvigorated me. And I'm so excited to begin using this with my clients. So look at things that you're hearing good things about or are exciting, because it might just be the thing you need to invigorate you and help you feel excited about this slump and not feel so much dread. You can also collaborate with employee assistance programs, EAPs. These can be a consistent referral source. If you're not already connected with local EAPs, now might be a good time to start. So you want to look at insurance companies that provide EAP services or private EAP service companies to see if this is a type of work that you want to do. Typically, these people come with a specific need that's impacting their work, and they have a set number of sessions that they can see with you. These sessions do often pay less than what you would get for your regular therapy session. That's part of what you agree to when you join an EAP. You also want to make sure you understand what you need to do, because you'll have different CPT codes for these sessions. But keep in mind that these clients will often choose to continue working with you after their EAP benefits have been exhausted. Now let's look at navigating slumps with self-care and planning. Utilize slower periods for professional growth. And again, this is about like what I was talking about with the brain spotting. Engaging in continuing education can enhance your skills or service offerings. Enroll in courses or workshops that align with your interest and practice needs, or will take you on a new journey with your work that might be really exciting. Look at self-care and reflective practices. Use some of this time for self-care and to reflect on your practice's trajectory. Again, instead of looking at this as lost time, find ways that this can be the silver lining for you. You can engage in activities that nurture your well-being and spend time planning future practice strategies or marketing strategies. Financial preparedness is next. I talk about this all of the time because it is so important and will make a huge difference in your private practice journey. Having a financial buffer can ease the stress of low income periods. So create a reserve fund and explore diverse income streams, such as doing group work, writing, or consulting. At the beginning, you may not have enough income to put into your reserve fund. But if you notice that you have a month where your income has gone up, instead of giving yourself a raise and being excited, consider putting at least some of that money aside so that you can draw from that to pay yourself during these slumps. And of course, you know that I have to say this, seek peer support. Sharing experiences with fellow therapists can offer comfort and fresh perspectives. In addition to the support you can get for imposter syndrome, participation in peer consultation groups or professional forums to discuss strategies and share experiences can be helpful in a variety of ways. In summary, practice slumps are a natural part of the private practice landscape. By understanding their causes, we can better prepare and respond. Do we want to respond or do we want to react? What would you be telling your client? Let's plan ahead so that we can respond. It's important to remember that these periods are temporary most of the time and provide an opportunity for growth, reflection, and recalibration. If you've experienced practice slumps and have strategies or insights that you would like to share, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's support each other in navigating these challenges and continue to thrive in our private practices. I truly believe that the more therapists come together and support each other, the more effective all of our practices can be and the better impact it will have on each of us individually. For everyone listening, there are new episodes of the Colleague Down the Hall podcast released every Thursday on all major platforms. Please remember, our work is hard, but it doesn't have to be lonely.
Thank you so much for listening to the Colleague Down the Hall podcast. For show notes, links, and downloads, head over to colleaguedownthehall.com, where you'll be able to learn more about getting the clinical support you need and resources to help you work in a supported, sustainable way. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share with your therapy friends and colleagues. Subscribe to the podcast, and if you love this episode, please leave a review.